Your mind is not as honest as you think. You believe you see the world clearly, but in reality you only see what your brain allows you to see. Every day, you're walking through life guided by invisible biases, hidden assumptions, and psychological blind spots that shape your decisions without you even realizing it. These blind spots quietly influence your relationships, your confidence, your opportunities, your failures, and, honestly, the quality of your entire life. Because what you don't notice controls you. Neurologist Oliver Sacks wrote about a man who, virtually blind from early childhood, had an operation that restored his sight when he was middle-aged. Though the man's eyes now took in visual information, his brain wasn't used to making sense of it. He couldn't differentiate between a man and a gorilla until he touched a nearby statue of a gorilla. Then the difference became immediately clear. This confused state is similar to what you'll feel when you've accepted feedback about what lies in your blind spots. You're not used to this new set of eyes, this novel image of self. After my first revelation of how I can be very dominant, I felt incredibly clumsy. I felt a little as if I were talking while listening to headphones. I couldn't correctly gauge how I was coming across to others. Slowly, asking repeatedly for feedback, I began to see my own behavior more clearly. My false image of self gave way to a more accurate model, and I learned to avoid accidentally stomping on people with my conversational style. Deliberately, methodically eliminating your blind spots simply intensifies the natural process we all endure as life teaches us its rough-and-tumble lessons. If you undertake this accelerated journey, you will learn much more in much less time, albeit with a few more scrapes and bruises, and achieve a deeper level of self-knowledge than you otherwise would have. Just observing the truth about yourself without judgment or spin will begin to change you. It's well nigh impossible to see yourself more and more clearly while continuing to act without integrity or in contradiction to your life's real purpose. Eventually, you may come to see what Marianne Williamson meant when she said, "Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us." To see your truest nature is to recognize that you have a capacity for goodness far greater than you ever dreamed, with all the awesome responsibility that entails. It's a difficult proposition, but in the end, the view makes it all worthwhile. Humans don't make logical decisions. We make emotional ones, and well, we justify them with logic afterward. That job you didn't apply for, that person you pushed away, that habit you kept, that opportunity you avoided, that risk you feared. It wasn't logic, it was emotion wearing a logical mask. Your feelings decide the path, your mind simply explains it in a way that makes you feel rational. The invisible puppeteer is emotion. You don't control your habits control you. Most of your daily actions are automatic scripts, repeated so many times the brain no longer asks for permission. Your mind prefers routine over improvement, comfort over growth, predictability over possibility. You keep reliving yesterday because your brain is programmed to minimize effort, not maximize potential. This blind spot keeps you exactly where you are. The human brain has a natural defense mechanism. It avoids what threatens your self-image. That's why you avoid deep self-reflection, why you avoid difficult conversations, why you avoid pursuing big goals, why you avoid the truth, why you avoid discomfort. Your mind filters out everything that challenges your identity, even if those challenges are the exact things that would set you free. What you avoid ends up ruling your life. Most of us have such psychological blind spots, aspects of our personalities that are obvious to everyone but ourselves. There's the mother who complains, "I don't know why little Horace is so violent, I've smacked him for it 1,000 times." Or your gorgeous friend who believes she has all the seductive allure of a dung beetle. Or the co-worker who complains that mysteriously every single person he's ever worked for develops the identical delusion that he's shiftless and incompetent. And as we roll our eyes at such obliviousness, some of us might think, what about me? Do I have blind spots? And if so, what are they? You can find the answers if you care to, or more accurately, if you dare to. This is the roughest mission you can undertake, a direct seek and destroy attack on your own pockets of denial. Denial is far trickier than simple ignorance. It isn't the inability to perceive information, but the astonishing ability to perceive information while automatically refusing to allow it into consciousness. Our minds don't perform this magical trick without reason. We only go blind to information that is so troubling, so frightening, or so opposed to what we believe that to absorb it would shatter our view of ourselves and the world. On the other hand, becoming fully conscious of our perceptions, simply feeling what we feel and knowing what we know, is the very definition of awakening. It creates a virtually indestructible foundation for lasting relationships, successful endeavors, and inner peace. Hunting down your blind spots is a bumpy adventure, but it can lead to sublime destinations. Identifying your own blind spots is an exercise in paradox, because if you're aware of a problem, it doesn't count. It's like tracking the wind. You can't observe the thing itself, only its effects. The tracks that a blind spot leaves are repetitive experiences that seem inexplicable, the things that make you exclaim, "Why does this always happen to me?" For example, 1. You keep having the same relationship with different people. All of Macy's friends are takers, emotional parasites who drain her and give nothing back. Steve's 3 ex-wives all had extramarital affairs. No one in Corinne's life, her children, her co-workers, her mother, ever responds to her feelings. These people don't know that they carefully choose friends and lovers who match certain psychological profiles, or that their behavior elicits similar reactions from almost everyone they encounter. It would take you about 5 minutes with Macy to see that she's so self-effacing, she actually resists normal friendships, gravitating only toward takers. Steve's friends will tell you he falls for women who remind him of his mother, an enthusiastic practitioner of promiscuous sex. Corinne is so reserved that even the most intuitive people can't read her moods. All 3 have gone through life blaming their relationship patterns on other people's shortcomings. 1. Your luck never changes. Over years of life coaching, I've become more and more convinced that we create our own luck. I'm not saying that there's no such thing as blind fate, but I am saying that choice is far more powerful than chance in determining the pattern of our failures and successes over time. Many of my clients have lost jobs in the recent economic downturn, but those who were previously doing well in their careers are finding ways to learn from their experience and bounce back. Those who complained of relentless bad luck before being laid off have slid further downhill. A client I'll call Shirley recently complained, "When my sister was fired, I thought we'd bond because we both had the same bad luck, but then she started her own business, so it turns out that for her, getting fired was good luck. Just like always, she gets all the breaks." As I punted Shirley to a psychotherapist, I wondered if they train seeing eye dogs for people with her kind of blindness. If so, Shirley will almost certainly develop a dog allergy. 1. People consistently describe you in a way that doesn't fit your self-image. If tracking patterns in love and luck isn't enough to reveal your blind spots, there's another way to go after them. You just have to notice what people tell you about yourself, the things you have always cleverly ignored or routinely discounted. Complete the following sentences as accurately as you can, and you might be closing in on a truth you haven't fully acknowledged. People are always telling me that I get a lot of compliments about, when my friends or family members are angry with me, they say that, people often thank me for mar bar. If you heartily agree with all the information that pops up in response to these phrases, you've simply reinforced an accurate self-concept by recalling times when others have validated your perceptions. But if any of the descriptions seem strange, incongruous, or flat-out false, consider the possibility that your image of yourself may not be accurate, and almost certainly doesn't correspond to what other people perceive. By the way, you may well discover that you're blind to your positive characteristics as well as negative ones. Some people, especially women, may be so biased against being arrogant that they overlook or dismiss their own best qualities. The most dangerous blind spot is believing you don't have any, because honestly, the moment you think you see everything clearly, your mind becomes a prison with invisible walls. Growth requires humility, clarity requires questioning, transformation requires awareness. Your blind spots aren't weaknesses. They are unlit rooms inside your mind waiting to be explored, and the moment you shine light on them, you take back control. Here's the truth you need to hear. You don't become powerful by learning more. You become powerful by noticing what you've always ignored. Pause before you react. Challenge your beliefs. Question your assumptions, observe your emotions, study your habits, look directly at what scares you, pay attention to what you avoid. Awareness is the first step to freedom, because the moment you see the blind spot, it stops controlling you. Your mind is full of blind spots, but that doesn't make you weak, it makes you human. What separates growth from stagnation is simple. Most people never look at their blind spots, but you just did. This is Mind Scripted, where you learn to see what controls you, so you can finally control yourself.